And hello, everyone. It's Tom. It's FANzine Live, and this is the Phoenix Spotlight for this week. I am thrilled to share with you Chapter 5 of Hologram, the Counting the Days saga, where the chapter name is Live in the Moment. Here, let's make sure we have our plot threads available. We are in the midst of the downward spiral in poor Joe's life, basically. And it's a weird combination of what's going on in his life. He's still emotionally dealing with his transformation. He's still learning about what's going on with his transformation. He's still kind of fighting with Nelson and Apex. He's reinventing himself, and of course his marriage is slowly unraveling, and that's not good, but that's life in Joe's world. We are doing a very slow progression of his relationship unfolding. And I did that for a reason, because when you look at the actual days and the length of time it takes for things to fall apart, I think that's a realistic representation of what goes on in a relationship. Things don't just crash altogether, by and large. It takes time, and things just eventually fall apart. And so what I thought I would do is try to represent that in the page. The other thing I wanted to do is point out that really in this book, with the way that I do it, with every single page being almost a splash page for the information that goes on during that day, or maybe in the days surrounding it, each one could be looked at as a separate story to itself. And so you really have to look carefully and consider the story elements that are taking place to get us to the presented page. We start here with this. You can see we've got Joe's hands, might be flying, and we've got a train that he has blown a derailed train that he has blown the wall open on. So a little kind of heroic move on the cover, which of course we jump into pretty quickly. But we start with the Apex saga. And you can see in June 9th, Mike and Isaac have told me that Nelson is close to replicating the accident. He took Isaac's data on the beam wavelength. They don't know what it means, but it's not good. And you can see, of course, I wrote it, and I did the lettering as well, and William Kiddell did the artwork. You can see they're meeting in a parking lot. They've got a security camera overhead. Who knows who's watching them? The guys are not in a good place. And those are Joe's inside guys at Apex. Note the date, June 9th. The very next day, June 10th, Isaac was fired when Nelson unlocked the beam research files. But Isaac took the fall, so Mike still has his job. So we're down now to one guy inside at Apex, and one guy who's basically sacrificed his job for Joe. A few days later, had I not cut a hole in the derailed train, 52 people would have plunged to their death in the Kikianga. And I pulled Kikianga out of, I believe it's in Illinois. So I don't know if Joe's in Illinois, but I just thought it's a fun name, and that's the name of the river. So you can see it was a crazy experience on the train. Joe's coming through, looks reasonably calm. He's blown the wall open so people can get out. He's really getting into his superhero thing. He is indeed reinventing himself. So we've dealt with Joe versus Nelson in Apex. We've dealt with Isaac and Mike. And now we've had Joe reinventing himself. And it took him some time, but he's finally going home. Remember, in the last issue, he did his trip around the Pacific Rim, went down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. He finally has gone home. It's June 22nd, 1989. He goes home even though he's clearly not wanted anymore. Maggie, of course, being kind of stretched out on the couch, eating popcorn or what have you, watching TV. I don't know where else to go. Spots senses me. So Maggie's watching TV. She doesn't know that Joe's entered because, of course, he just silently goes through walls and stuff like that. Spots can figure out where he is. What does that mean? Okay, so 5 days later, he needs a change of scenery, so he goes to Washington. Perhaps Congress is the only thing more boring than his life. And you can see him up there at the House of Representatives, just passing time, much as the House of Representatives often does. 3 days later, he goes back home. He passes by Maggie's office but cannot bring himself to go in. This is an interesting picture. I really like how William did this one. Notice the hand is coming through the glass window, but he's largely outside. He can't bring himself to go in. We've determined that Maggie S. Peters is a doctor, medical director, works at Meadow Acres Retirement Home, but she still has the picture of the married couple on her desk. So either she hasn't bothered to clean things up or she hasn't totally given up. And then lastly, and this is where live in the moment comes in, July 4th, Independence Day fireworks. They amaze me. I thought that with all the awful things that happened, the Apex stuff, people losing their jobs, can't reconnect with his wife, had to sit through a day in Congress, I thought I would end it with a moment of temporary joy. And that's it. He went up and checked out the fireworks up live and in person. So, Hologram, Chapter 5. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one, everybody. See you next time.